Let's learn about Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3. There you go. All right, the basics. Baldur's Gate 3 is a role-playing video game developed and published by Larian Studios. Obviously, it's the third main game in the series, and it utilizes the Dungeons & Dragons tabletop role-playing system. A sneak peek partial version of the game was released in early access for Windows in October of 2020, and it released a couple days ago on the 3rd of August in 2023. The PlayStation 5 version is scheduled to come out in a month, and an Xbox version will eventually come out. The game has a single player and co-op element. You can create a party with some NPCs or team up online with other players. Unlike Baldur's Gate's predecessors, it's turn-based combat, much more similar to Larian's Divinity Original Sin games. The game takes place 120 years after the events of Baldur's Gate 2. The protagonist tries to save themselves from the Mind Flayers and meets a whole bunch of friends which you party up with. Looking at the Baldur's Gate website, looks like we have a trailer. Booyah, let's watch it. Boom! It looks like Gandalf. Animation looks pretty good. You can instantly tell that this game has a lot of story involved. Oh my gosh. Now that was the bat sex scene. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's party time. Hey, I get it, because it's a party, because you party up. I see what they did there. They have a collector's edition. What comes in the collector's edition? 160-page art book. How do I click on that? Oh, accept cookies. The art book is digital. Got it. I need to change to America so I can see. $270. Oh my gosh. You know I could buy an Xbox for that. The website has a frequently asked questions section. They have a merch store. Let's look at the merch store. Okay, we've seen the collector's edition, and it is out of stock. Holy smokes. Beer coaster packs. Nice. Got a bunch more videos, screenshots. It's only 3 days since the launch, and they have a hot fix that they pushed out. That shows me a developer cares, which is always good. They even have active forums going on. Nice. Panel from hell. What's this? It's a 7-hour video. Skip ahead. That's pretty awesome. They're all cosplayed. It's pretty cool. So I think this was part of the launch. I don't know if I have time to watch all of this, but looks pretty cool. It looks like the developers are just discussing the game and features of the game. Pretty cool. The developer is Larian Studios. They're from Belgium, and they were founded in 1996. I know them from the Divinity series, an excellent series. They are best known for Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2. The former came out in 2014, the latter in 2017. I love this game. I'm a big fan of Larian Studios, and I'm real excited to dive into Baldur's Gate 3. Going to Larian's website, they're excited about their new release, Baldur's Gate 3. They have a merch store, which we saw earlier. They say here that Divinity Original Sin 2 was scored 10 out of 10 by GameSpot, and there was only 15 games to get this score since 1996. Pretty freaking awesome. They have about 300 employees now and a bunch of open positions if you want to go try to get a job with them. Very cool. They also publish their own games. Let's learn about the team, one of my favorite parts. All right, so Son Vinky, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He directed the game, and he was the original founder of Larian Studios. He looks like a jack of all trades. On Divinity 2, he was the director, game designer, and he helped write the script. Son decided to self-publish because he wanted full control over the games. He says it's financially intense to create a game like the games they like to create. He's known as the founding father of the Belgian game industry and received the first Belgian Lifetime Achievement Award. He's a programmer, he's a video editor, does voices, does level editing, engine programming, directs games, designs games, writes scripts. He's essentially one of the legends of game development, and it's exciting to have another game that he has been director of, Baldur's Gate 3. The composer of the game is Borislav Slavov, who has done Crisis, Rise Son of Rome, Divinity Original Sin 2, which I loved that soundtrack. And here he is with a nice pink shirt and a great jacket. How was the game received on launch? It's currently the highest selling game on Steam right now, and it is on the top 10 list of all-time peak Steam games, knocking out Apex Legends. That blows my mind. I personally would have never thought a Dungeons & Dragons turn-based game would be as mainstream as this. Super awesome. Its all-time peak already is 814,000. It's got a Metascore of 95 from critics, 9.2 users, and apparently this guy says Game of the Year, but gave it a 0. Makes no sense. I'm super excited to play this game and get into it. Larian Studios knows their stuff. The last several games I've played from them, they have dominated that genre. I know this game isn't for everyone, but it's definitely for me. Hopefully you learned something. Now let's go play Baldur's Gate 3.